Greetings, YouTube. It has always been possible to produce firearms off the grid. That has existed for as long as the very concept of registered firearms has existed. The concept behind a firearm is not overly complex when you understand it, in particular in a world where you can buy commercially produced cased ammo. So you can just build a device designed to fire the ammo that can be purchased almost anywhere. That right there makes producing such a firearm a hell of a lot easier. What is a lot of people upset in the modern era of 3D printing is the concept of ghost guns, which is readily available firearm components, which can be manufactured off the grid without anyone knowing about it, producing a firearm which could be used without anyone's knowledge that the person possesses the firearm. Now, again, you could buy a firearm illegally. That's always going to be an option and always has been. Um, but the idea of having a firearm that you can have purpose built to your needs in your own home with legally readily available pieces of technology, 3D printing, some simple hand tools, things like that, has a lot of people very nervous because that means you can you can functionally produce off-grid firearms at scale, which is different than one-offs here and one-offs there. I will neither confirm nor deny that I know that whether or not you can produce a firearm out of a block of Delrin that is completely invisible to a metal detector. But ghost guns are something different. This is anyone who can get those files, and they're going to be available all over the place, could then print the items they need to put together a functioning firearm. Now, some of the components are going to be more difficult to get because some of the components cannot be easily 3D printed. You can't really 3D print a barrel that's going to have any level of durability. There will be other components of a firearm that you're going to have to produce that most is outside the reach of most people. Yes, you may be well versed at 3D printing, but do you also have the skills with a lathe and a mill to produce the parts of a firearm that you cannot 3D print with current technology? Yes, I know that metal printing is a thing, but it has not yet reached hobbyists. That is still more of an industrial thing. Okay? Someday it will reach hobbyists, and then the sky's the limit, literally. But until then, you still have to get your hands on components that are going to be more difficult to produce by your average user. So there's still some chance of keeping track of some of the vital aspects of that firearm and maybe finding people are producing these things off grid. But it's getting harder and harder as time goes by. And I think we need to be up and aware of what's going on right now so that we can help curtail the production of these firearms now because every year it's going to get easier and easier and easier. So we should have regulations in place today so that we will have some way of keeping this under control. It's going to be increasingly difficult. I understand this. But if we do nothing, then it just gets a whole lot simpler for those that want to produce firearms at scale that are completely invisible to the entire registration system. And in a country that already has more firearms than people, that makes me nervous because it has been in my experience that the type of people that want to do this are the type of people you don't want to have firearms.